You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
I believe I overcome by the power of His blood. Amen. Amen. I'm alive because He lives. Amen. Amen. Let my song join the world that never ends because He lives.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Fully Alive, our radio show from the Office of Human Dignity and Solidarity of the Archdiocese of Chicago. Again, good morning. I'm joined in. Usually, we have Dawn as our host. I'm usually the co-host, and it's always fun. But I'm doing this. Kind of taking the lead here, so pray for me, everybody. But we're joined in. Thank God I'm not alone. We're joined in by Dr. Angela Swain. Hello. And also Danielle Bodette. Did I say that right? I'm like, yeah. I practiced in my head.
It was perfect.
But we're with the Office of Human Dignity and Solidarity. So welcome, everyone. I can't believe it's already November.
I know.
It's November.
I had the realization, too, when I looked at my phone and the calendar said 1. I was like, the first of what? And I was like, yeah, it's November.
Oh, my goodness. It's going by so fast.
It is.
And the weather, I'm actually liking it. I'm actually liking the weather.
Not too cold, not too hot.
I've just been confused. Like, why is it still warm?
But yeah.
Like, it's 66 degrees today. I'm from Minnesota, and we just, this is incomprehensible to me. I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
But the fact that Halloween weekend wasn't like frigid, I didn't know how to cope.
I moved to Chicagoland area in a good maybe 12 years now, and they always told me, Dr. Angela, let me know if this is true. They always told me, and I believe it. They say that if you don't like the weather in Chicago, wait 5 minutes. So, it keeps changing. And I think that this is the month that it changes. And then I can't believe it. Next month, next radio show, it's December. I know.
It's warm, but there's still a crispness in the air.
When does it snow? That's my question.
Maybe tomorrow.
You're like 5 minutes.
Flurries by this afternoon.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. So, this is what we're going to talk about. We're talking about the Catholic Campaign for Human Development. We're talking about Thanksgiving. We're talking about the month of November. And this is going to be a great conversation. So, all of our listeners, thanks for joining us in this great conversation as we talk about being fully alive. You know, what that means and what a gift that is as well. So, we'll pull in our guests. We're going to have some guests all throughout our show today. We're going to pull in some guests. And our first guest, Danny, go ahead and introduce her.
So our first guest is Heather Johnson. She is with St. Agatha Catholic Church, and she works as a parent coordinator. And we are so excited to have her. We have been funding the 501c3 entity of that parish called the Dream Builders Association for several years now. And it is my great joy to introduce Heather.
Welcome, Heather.
Thank you guys for having me this morning.
Of course. Heather, could you just tell us a little bit about St. Agatha and the Dream Builders Association and kind of how all of that came to be?
Yes, so St. Agatha has been around, a church founded in 1983. Restorative justice work that we currently do it started in 2014. I came on in 2018, and I am a parent coordinator here at St. Agatha's Church. And what I do, my job is to connect with parents in the community, local schooling, and other organizations, and just to build up a gap between the youth, elders, and our young adults.
This is great because you mentioned you're a parent coordinator. I love it because I believe, and maybe I'm alone in this, but I believe that all ministries needs to have like some sort of a parent coordinator. I love the way you said that too, where you're bridging the gaps between these two. We were just talking before we started this whole thing, the radio show. That's I'm a young parent. I try to I say young. Make sure that
Your
that's
kids
highlighted.
don't think so.
But yeah, I'm transitioning into and making sure that because their world is different from ours, from mine, right? So this is beautiful that you're doing that. So God bless you for stepping in and making sure that's that position that bridge is there in you.
Yeah. I have another question. So kind of tying into being that liaison between kids and their parents and the community, you mentioned the word restorative justice, and I was just wondering if you could give us a working definition of that word. I think it's something that we hear or read about a lot, but I think a lot of us don't have a functional definition in our vocabulary.
So basically, restorative justice is it stands for a lot of stuff in our community. We currently have a court system in our community called Restorative Justice in the North Lawndale community, which we live and serve, and it is basically working with first-time offenders that has committed a crime, and we do a repair harm agreement between the two parties, the victim and the person that committed the crime or whatnot, and we do peace circles, and we have them go through multitude of trainings to better themselves. And with the parent coordinator program, we were able to connect some of the young youth, which are parents from the course that are coming to our program through St. Agatha, empowerment classes. So connecting with the parents in the community, whether it's by the schools, whether it's meeting them at the laundromat, at the local grocery store. Because I live in the community, it makes it more of a impactful because I see them on a daily, and I know firsthand the problems and situation that they go through. So the restorative justice is not just about time offenders, but it's also restoring the homes, restoring the foundations of the household, which, we're lacking 2-parent households. We're teaching one how to love themselves, how to find themselves, and even going through, the trials and tribulations of what we face as in the poverty area which we live. We're giving them vision and hope of what's to come. We're working with our children because currently they're the future and they will be the present. We have to bridge the gap between our elders, our senior citizens, with our younger youth, because they have a story to tell, and they also have a testimony of how they overcame those situations. And what St. Agatha do as an empowerment, we just continue building families together and bringing about unity within our community. We're putting back neighbors in the hood where we stay. We're getting to beautify and unify and create businesses through empowerment. A lot of people that I have come across were like, we're stuck in this poverty, we're being pushed to the side. But at the end of the day, my job is to empower them, to let them know that you have the choice to do something about the things that you don't like. So let's come together, just empower them and let them know that, we all are created in God's image. And if we're created in his image, that means we're his children. And if we're his children, we possess the same powers. So we have to look within ourselves to do things that we don't, or to bring about change of things that we don't like. And my message is to the people that I work with in my community is I'm starting with the woman in the mirror, which is me, and I'm gonna bring about change. So, and that's why that's a little bit of restorative. I'm bringing back a restorative of who I am, who they are and why they were put here. We're bringing about justice in our community of things that fall short of to us. Even the people that has been placed in alderman position, we're bringing about power, and we restore things to its original state of self-worthiness, of God's driven purpose.
Yeah. Heather, my heart is pounding. I'm like so excited when I hear you share your experience there. And I love how you mention the elders and the connection with the children with the elders. And so I'm just wondering, what are those intergenerational nuggets, if you will, that you really feel like those children are learning from the elders?
Well, we go back. We have history books and everything that we was taught through school, but we have history in our community. And just being able, during COVID, we was able to St. Agatha pass out, many boxes of food to our senior citizen homes in in our community to local residents as well. And by taking our youth as the participants to pass these boxes out to our elders, they were able to understand some of the crises that they face 70 years back, and how they're currently going through the cycle again. And now we're coming to a conclusion on how we're going to break the cycle of, the poverty, the lack of, and bring about a support system. And most important, we're bringing and building a community of love. Love is the most powerful thing that we as humans possess. We use this to just show God's emotions through our actions. He's a omnipotent God, so we have to be present and show up. He uses us, his children, to touch each one. So as we touch and show love through the community, the young folks connecting with the elders and understanding their purpose, the elder purpose, and why they're currently fighting for the future of the youth. And some we have, a misunderstanding between youth and our elders, because some communities will think, the elders want to see the youth go to jail because of the crime that's going on in the community. And some people, the youth are willing to help the younger lady in spirit to cross the street. And we just have to build those and put them in the right position for each one to help one. It is a circle of life. And at the end of the day, the old take care of the young, and the young take care of the old. And we have to keep that going.
Thank you.
I love that. We're about to take a break, but I'd love to dive into this question that I want to ask you, Heather, after the break. I love hearing the passion from your hearts. And I'm just being honest here. When I was told that you are the bridge, you need to be the bridge, my first initial reaction is like, no thanks. But there's an important call, right? There's that important call to us to be that bridge, and take our place in our community, to make sure that we are the bridge for that gap. So again, we're about to take a break right now, and we'll get back to Heather and St. Agatha's Parish after the break.
Catholic Charities' Refugee Resettlement Program has been especially busy this year, assisting individuals and families who have fled dangerous situations in their homeland, including Afghanistan and the Ukraine. The Refugee Resettlement Team helps with everything they need to start to rebuild their lives in a new country, including housing, employment, clothing, food, English classes, and referrals for legal and immigration services. The refugees are tremendously grateful for the compassion and practical help they're receiving, and they're giving back and helping each other plan for a brighter, safer future. Volunteer opportunities are currently available for those who would like to be family mentors and tutors, so children and adults can practice English. To learn more about these rewarding opportunities, call 312-655-7096. That's 312-655-7096.
There is no doubt this life is short. It is in you I trust to spread your truths, your goodness, and love. It is you who will give a leader to our church. Who will fill these shoes?
We are hiring. Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of Chicago is looking for mission-driven individuals who want to help make a positive difference in the lives of people in need throughout Cook and Lake counties. Be part of a diverse, talented team of professionals in the largest human services organization in the Midwest. We are dedicated to helping people chart a more stable, happier future for themselves, and we accompany anyone in need, regardless of faith, gender, race, or ethnicity. Competitive salaries and generous benefits add to the satisfaction you'll have every day, knowing that you're helping us amplify our impact in Chicago. To see our list of employment opportunities, visit CatholicCharities.net.
Every fear is gone. I know He holds my life, my future in His hands. Amen. Amen.
Welcome back to Fully Alive, the office from the Office of Human Dignity and Solidarity of the Archdiocese of Chicago. We're just talking about the call, this beautiful call that God gives us. Because as I mentioned before the break, I said, and again, I'm just being honest. Sometimes when God calls us to do something, to be that bridge, I'm being honest. My first reaction is like, no thanks, right? But then there's this thing where it's coming from God, I believe. And I want to ask you that question, Heather. Where is this coming from? What has driven this passion that you have now with doing all these things that you're doing?
Well, you had it right. It's all about God and doing God's will. If I may, I'll share a small story
Please,
about
yes.
myself. Growing up in the North Lundale community, I was faced many challenges, and I believe God came to me about 15 years of age, and life was kind of hard and going through many trials and tribulations. And God, called me then, and dealing with myself, I was like, man, I thought my mom and my grandma was telling the preacher, my situation, and I like, she didn't tell this woman all my business, and because really getting down now, like, okay, God, this must be you, because I'm looking at my parents and they have no clue to what I'm looking at them for. And fear set in, and the lady called us to the altar. If this message, you felt it within your heart, come on to the altar. And I felt that with all in me, and my spirit jumped out of my body before my body stood up, like, get to that altar. This calling is for you. But fear set in, and then I looked at everybody in the audience with me, and then the fear came in and said, they know they're talking about you. You're going to let everybody know they're talking about you. And that fear kind of set in, and I sat down, and I missed that calling God had on my life at that particular time. And I continued to go through that trial and tribulation, and I connected with St. Agatha when I was 15 as a mentor, and I had someone there to help and try to keep their hand on me and give me guidance, such as I do for the people today. And I needed that then, and it gave me understanding of who I was and my purpose, and not, really to blame myself because of the fear, but, to work to overcome that. And long story short, 35, I'm 38 years of age. I'll currently be 39 in January. Beautiful. 35, right after my birthday, God came back to me. I was sitting at my desk, and he's like, okay, are you ready? And now I'm going to tell you, from 15 to 35, I cried out to God every day and through the season and told him, I repent and I'm sorry, God. But my soul says yes. My heart says yes. Beautiful. I'm ready. And on my 35th, right at the day after my 35th birthday, he came to me again. He said, are you ready, my child? And I leaped in joy, and I accepted, and things I was already in transition of changing my life for the great purpose that God divined in me. And ever since then, I've been off, and it's like it's been a rocket, the download of information God instilled in me. And because everything that I do in Christ's name. It's all to give glory to God, because He chose me to make a transition into my community. He chose me to make a difference in generations. He chose me to step into the community and say, it's you who needs to change. We blame a lot of people for our fault, and yeah, we can blame, but we have to start blaming ourselves of choices that we continue to make and things that we choose not to do. And my purpose is just driven off fire from God. And I for you, I have fire in the background because with CCHD and St. Agatha, I help empower young women and mothers to find their gift and their purpose and create businesses where they fall short in the community, where they're not receiving enough income to support their families, giving their children vision. I facilitate parenting classes, which we call From Stress to Bless. It's only one way of, taking them from that stressful situation at home and showing them a different way to handle things, and always putting God first in their household, and having testimonies after that on how just the classes alone touch their heart and transition them to do better for their family and start businesses for themselves. Not only we're trying to redo our community with businesses of people that look like us, but we're empowering households to build legacies for their children to come and their children. And that's another purpose, my driven. I'm a grandmother, I was a young mom. I'm a young grandma as well. And my purpose is to make sure the rest of the young people doesn't fall short, and always have a support system to do their best, to be their best at all times. And St. Agatha has been doing that in the community along with the help of CCHD. And I'm forever grateful, because now I'm starting my own business and helping the community and linking organization, because I believe not one organization can do the job. The root word is organ. And if all organs come together, you will become one body. The battery is not important, is no more important than the engine. Because if you have an engine in the car and the battery is not charged, then the engine won't start. So if we connect all together as one, the organs, the body of Christ, we will become the Christ, and we will be moving in Christ-like intention. So that's my purpose, is connecting organizations and business together to be one. We're doing it for the same purpose. What are your reasons? And is it to make a change, or is it to bring only wealth for yourself? And we're not about a selfish entity. We are here to build for generations to come through the North Lawndale and Chicago area. This is Reach One, Teach One. It started in North Lawndale, but what we do are we're going to build and take outside of the community to look neighboring communities, and just continue to build and support one another.
Amazing. God is so real. I mean, there's a fire. There's a fire inside of you, and it's just beautiful. And I don't know. I don't know where to.
I know, and I just love, Heather, when you said the organ is in organizations. I mean, that's a whole sermon right there. But I really appreciate how you shared about how CCHD has helped start businesses. You're starting a business. You started a business. People in the neighborhood are starting businesses, because, like you were saying, it's not, CCHD doesn't just impact one person. That's right. It impacts systems. It impacts communities. It's such a kind of a macro level impact, if you will, that CCHD has. And I so appreciate you sharing that story with us. I'm going to use that organ in organizations, if you don't mind, Heather.
You're more than welcome.
Another thing I just wanted to add, Heather, was that I so appreciated that you talked about this command to love as channeling God's emotion, because I think we all too often think of justice and peace and all these things as, well, this is our command to love our neighbor. And I think it is a command entirely, but when we just think about it as a command, it totally makes it all impersonal. And we forget that, like, it's not just God's rule for us to love, it's like his emotion to love. And like he feels love, you know, love is a choice, but like he actually feels that love for us. And he wants us to spread that emotion, you know, that deep sense of care. And that's just so evident in the way that you speak about your community. Like you are channeling, you know, action and the command of love, but also the emotion of love, and people must feel so loved by you. So thank you for all that you do and sharing a bit about you know, what St. Agatha has been up to. Are there any other updates on your work, of things that you've been doing recently, or things that you're really excited about on the horizon? Yeah, any updates would be great.
Well, yes, I have an amazing update. Like I said, CCHD has given me and helped empower me to also start my business as I help others. And it's funny that you mentioned fire. You feel the fire. That's my name for my business. It's called Fire, FIYA, forever inspiring your aspirations. And today, I'm going to pitch for a first prize of $25,000 for my business as a kickstart. With the Hustle Mommies of North Lundale community, moms of community coming together, pitching their business and, striving for the best, and come win or lose. And I do choose to win, and I believe I will come first place. Is to help those other business strive, because that's the whole purpose of what we're doing, is to link with organizations and business and help them strive to be the best. And that's my business, is forever inspiring your aspirations. So this evening at 5 p.m. I will be pitching in the contest, and I will be winning.
There it is. Claim that. Yes.
You know, continue to just do God's will, because it's divine, and it comes to you easily when you're doing God's work. Amen. And I'm walking with confidence, because God said I am. And I walk in that state. I am. And when people ask me, well, who sent you and who are you, or tell me something about you, the first thing that I say is I am, you know, because he chose me, and I am his child. And so are you guys. And that's why we're all on and linked in this called this morning, just to share God's work and how God's move. And because we are all chosen, he chose us to get and spread that message out.
God wanted us to talk today. I mean, this is amazing. And also for all of our listeners to hear this beautiful conversation as well. We're going to continue on with this conversation after we take this break, and we'll continue our conversation with Heather. Thanks so much, Heather.
Thank you.
I believe I overcome by the power of his blood. Amen. Amen. I'm alive because he lives. Amen. Amen. Let my song join the world that never ends, because he lives. I was dead in the grave. I was covered in sin and shame. I heard mercy call my name. He rolled the sun away. Amen. Amen. I'm alive because he lives. Amen. Amen. Let my song join the world that never ends, because he lives.
Hey, Heather. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Office of Human Dignity and Solidarity radio show, Fully Alive. We were just talking to Heather, and just kind of wrapping things up. Heather, any way to connect with you as we wrap up this segment?
Yes. You can find me at St. Agatha's Catholic Church, 3157 West Douglas Boulevard. My email, heatherhj23@yahoo.com. My phone number, everyone has my number, is 773-993-3579. And we're dedicated to, helping our community bring about change. We're bringing unity back to the community.
Thank you so much, Heather, for just taking this time to be here with us and speak with us. We're so grateful for you, and we all look forward to connecting with you again soon.
Thank you for having me once again. It was my pleasure.
Thanks again, Heather.
Thank you, Heather.
Did you know that Catholic Charities accepts car donations? If you're ready to free up space in your garage and put a stop to all those expenses that go along with owning a car, we will gratefully accept your donation, whether the car is running or not. You choose a pickup time that is convenient for you, and we will make the donation as easy as possible, free of charge. You'll receive a charitable donation receipt as well. We accept all types of vehicles nationwide, and you will know that your donation is made to Catholic Charities, an agency you can trust. To learn more about donating your car, call 877-786-4483. That's 877-786-4483. Thank you.
I feel special. I feel great. I got good grades.
We've seen a huge surge in our kids now meeting or exceeding grade level. Come check us out. You may have never thought we were an option before.
Our school communities provide students with academic excellence and character education in a supportive and stable learning environment. Come see for yourself. Visit archchicago.org/findaschool.
The cemetery ministry is a core ministry of our Catholic faith tied to the corporal works of mercy. It's comforting to know that our Catholic cemeteries are caring for the remains of our loved ones awaiting the resurrection. There are 44 Archdiocese of Chicago Catholic cemeteries willing to help you in your time of loss. Call 708-449-6100 or visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org. Catholic Cemeteries, serving the Catholic community since 1837.
You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Thanks for letting us be part of your morning. Now again, Catholic Chicago.
I believe in the risen one. I believe I overcome.
Welcome back to Fully Alive, the radio show for the Office of Human Dignity and Solidarity with the Archdiocese of Chicago. It's been a rapid fire so far, and this is our November show, and we're talking about the Catholic Campaign for Human Development, that the beautiful organization, a beautiful way that we can help all these different ministries, all these different organizations, make sure that they're doing great work there in the Archdiocese of Chicago. So we have another guest coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have Gary with us. Gary, are you there? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome, Gary.
Morning.
Great to meet you. This is fantastic. I
Nice
actually
to
hadn't
meet
met
you
Gary
guys.
before. I had met Heather, but Gary is new for me. Thank you so much for being here. It's such a joy to
You're
be
welcome.
connecting. So you are with one of our national CCHD funded groups, Lake County Sponsors, which is a part of Metro IF. Is that correct?
That is correct. That would be us.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're involved with the organization and just a little bit of history about it?
Well, Lake County Sponsors has been around since 2003, and its purpose was to address the root causes of poverty and systematic injustices. And so they've been doing that for a good number of years. The idea is to break the dependence on food pantries and handouts, and actually find a way to bring people back into the mainstream, and to do this by developing leaders in the local communities. And to do that, in our organization, I believe we're currently a 22 or 24 member organization of local Christian churches. We have one mosque and several Jewish organizations that are all part of us. That's and then in more recent times we resolved the closing of the nursing home in Lake County. Took a lot of years, a lot of conversations, a lot of networking, and only accomplished that finished that task a couple of years ago.
That's incredible. It sounds like you've had some major victories, so that is always good to hear. How did you get involved with Lake County Sponsors, and had you heard of the Catholic Campaign for Human Development before your involvement with that organization?
Oh yeah, no, I've loved the Catholic Campaign for Human Development. I love the whole concept. Again, it ties in with what Lake County Sponsors is about, and I had known about it for years. That's one of the ones I can usually talk my wife into throwing money into the basket when they have that campaign, because it's getting people to take care of themselves rather than stand in line for something. So with Lake County Sponsors, this mental health hospital organization tried to set up a psych hospital in Vernon Hills. And I, through my local parish, I got involved in supporting that campaign. Turns out it wasn't successful, but I stayed the course with Lake County Sponsors, and we did get that organization to set up a behavioral hospital in Waukegan. We had to go to the state health board and get their support and get in the leadership of Lake County to actually attend that meeting, including the county board president and the sheriff and a number of other organizations in Lake County, and the number of parishioners from St. Mary of Vernon attended that meeting.
That's incredible. My favorite thing about talking about CCHD is hearing when parishes are majorly involved in these campaigns and these organizations. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, that's solidarity. And can you speak a little bit more about your own parish's involvement? I know you said that they've attended these meetings, but yeah, how does your parish think about CCHD?
Well, several different things. Our parish has never had a parish school, so that in some ways puts us in an advantage over many of the other archdiocese parishes. So we've always had, well, for almost all of our 44 years at St. Mary of Vernon, we've had a food pantry. We actually have a furniture ministry, 4 box trucks. We engage in either picking up or delivering free furniture every Saturday, and of course, we've been part of the PADS program up here in Lake County that houses the homeless. Our day of the week is Thursdays, so that's been kind of our core, and we are a founding member of Lake County Sponsors, and it may have helped that in the case of the Catholic Church, that Bishop Kikanus, who's since retired, was the bishop for Vicariate 1, and he was a big supporter of the idea of Lake County sponsors, which, obviously with the campaign for human development, there was a natural extension of what the Archdiocese was already doing.
Yeah, that's incredible. Thanks for sharing that. So you mentioned that your work mainly focuses around housing and food and those things. Just a note to mention that I just love the diversity of fields in CCHD. We genuinely hit on so many different facets of community organizing. And so we talked with Heather last segment, who was very much in that community development phase, and parent coordinating and being a liaison between youth and elders. And now you're talking about a totally different thing about, food and housing and these sorts. So just to say, one of my favorite things is seeing all the different areas that we get to fund. It's really incredible.
Well, and we're part of the mental health movement, because when you talk about people that are homeless, as you probably are aware, a lot of the people that are homeless have mental health issues. So, and I don't know if this is the right time to bring this up, but our organization actually surveyed, with the help of the Lake County Health Department, the citizens in Lake County, and to see what they felt like the most important health needs were in the county. And much to our surprise, mental health came to the top of the list. So we've been actively engaged in a number of things that help. Obviously, the behavioral hospital would be one, but that came after we'd already been working on what's called CIT, crisis intervention training. So we've got over 1,000 police officials, primarily police officers, that are trained in how to manage when they get into these situations with people that have mental health issues and how to respond. And it involves getting grant money and getting the College of Lake County to put together a training program. I got to witness the tail end of it. They actually had the College of Lake County hired actors and put the police officials in scenarios that were typical of people that could be homeless and have mental health issues. And they were trained in how to respond to those situations. And it wasn't stop or I'll shoot. It involved a lot of listening. And hopefully that saved lives. And then, of course, we're trying to get crisis intervention units. We've worked with the state to get them to provide better funding for Medicaid clients. And of course, it's a question of where you can set these crisis intervention units up. And currently the state, at least in Medicaid, wants it to be a full service hospital, which ironically in Lake County is an issue because we don't have any full service hospitals to provide mental health services. Their primary way of handling them is the police will bring the client or the person into the emergency rooms. They'll get there 24 hours and then they'll release them. And we're trying to get the mental health hospital in Lake County to be accepted by the state for their services, even though they're not a full service hospital. Yeah. So it's kind of an ongoing activity in our case.
Yeah, thanks so much, Gary, for this information. I think this is important for us to be talking about this. We're going to take a break, Gary, and after this break, I'd love to continue on because a lot of our parishioners don't really even know what's going on in these beautiful ministries happening. So stay tuned, everybody, as we continue to talk about a Catholic campaign for human development.
Because he I was dead in the grave, was covered in sin and shame. I heard mercy call my name. He rolled the sun away. Amen.
Ancestry and genealogy are more important every day. People all over the world are wanting to learn more about their family heritage for personal and for health reasons. At Catholic Charities, we are hearing from adults who lived for a brief time at St. Vincent's Orphanage, the wonderful life-affirming agency that operated out of our headquarters for 91 years, serving thousands of women, children, and families until it closed in 1972. Our post-adoption services help adults who want to learn more about their experience at St. Vincent's. Our compassionate staff members provide whatever family background information they can offer, along with support and reunion services. To learn more, call 312-655-7093. That's 312-655-7093. The spirit of St. Vincent's lives on in the inspiring stories that continue to emerge today.
I am a seminarian.
The church needs compassionate and well-trained priests to help guide each of us through life.
What inspires me, what draws me always to the priesthood is continue to see priests be a beacon of hope for other people.
You can play a part in the education of these young men as they prepare for a life of service to others.
I want to be that beacon of hope too, and it sets my heart on fire.
To support our seminarians, make your gift at archchicago.org/seminarian fund or call 312-534-7959.
Catholic Charities has had the privilege of helping people in need in Cook and Lake County for more than 100 years. We would like to take this opportunity to thank our frontline workers who, despite the unprecedented challenges of the past 2 years, continue to excel at their jobs every day. From the warehouse staff members who pack boxes of nutritious foods for low-income seniors, to the dedicated WIC employees who have remained open for families with children under the age of 5, to our volunteers and restaurant partners who ensure that meals are available for those experiencing hunger, to our service coordinators and our professional counselors who continue their vital work in innovative ways, to our food pantry staff, and to all those who work at Catholic Charities Call Center, finding solutions for every person who reaches out to us for help. Charity is at the heart of all you do, and we salute you.
Welcome back to Fully Alive, the radio show for the Office of Human Dignity and Solidarity of the Archdiocese of Chicago.
Gary, thank you so much for all you've shared about your organization. We had another question for you. You mentioned the training that you provide police officers, and so
Yes.
Can you speak a little more about what programs you offer for those needing mental health services?
It's not as much programs as what we're trying to get developed in Lake County, and that's where the crisis stabilization units come in. That's primarily our latest thrust has been in that direction, though providing what we call essential housing for essential workers is also a piece of that. We're actually in the process, and it's gone on for several years, of developing a site in Waukegan that would include, at least at this point, because we haven't gone before the zoning commission, as many as 25 single-bedroom apartments that would include support for people that had those kind of issues, mental health issues. We've actually done that already in Mundelein. We have a housing place there that's got 40 units and a portion of those units are set aside for people with different kinds of disabilities. So it's more of that approach than, well, here we are with a series of programs
Yeah. Okay.
in support of people that have mental health issues.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome.
I had another question. So obviously we know that mental health has been a reality for forever, but it was certainly heightened during the pandemic. How did your efforts or work change during COVID and still now, because we're obviously still in this and still dealing with all the effects?
Well, what Lake County Sponsors is about is networking and building support, and that continued. A lot of Zoom meetings, and that's basically the way we approached it. I'm trying to think of what our major issues. Well, we've spent a lot of energy recently on the essential housing, and the CIT training was up and running, and that was more a matter of getting the Lake County community, the local police departments, to buy into it. We were real fortunate. Initially, the Lake County Sheriff's Police bought into the program, and that drew in a number of the other local police organizations. So it's a good question. I know in the case of PADS at our church and PADS of Lake County, they ended up getting government funding. And you may know this already, they went and used that funding to get hotel rooms. So our parish during that time did not offer PAD services just to be safe. But the support of the homeless continued during that time, just in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, the pandemic totally changed how we how we had to think about support. What we thought was supportive before that, we just had to totally alter a lot of our tracks and thinking about what public safety means. So thanks for sharing that information. We have about 2 minutes left before we end this conversation, but just to kind of wrap things up, what are some updates on your work? Is there anything that you're really looking forward to that you would love for our listeners to know about? Anything of that sort?
Well, we're limited in some ways, and others not. We have the 2 full-time staff members that help us. Well, 1.5 perhaps, and so our goal is to continue to grow our organization in Lake County, and as you may guess, because you're dealing with volunteer organizations yourselves, that tends to be a challenge. Ideally, we'd like to get more Catholic parishes involved in Lake County. At one point, we had as many as 5 parishes, and now it's St. Mary of Vernon and St. Joe's. And I'm not sure, because there's a financial commitment in order to be part of Lake County Sponsors, that the parishes understand the value of Lake County Sponsors in accomplishing their social action goals. Giving out food's a great thing, but if you can find a way to help those people find jobs and housing, permanent housing, that's a big deal. And I'm not sure the parishes in Lake County understand that.
Yeah, thanks so much, Gary, for joining us, for your time and these great programs and that these initiatives that you're doing, heading up over there. So God bless you. Thanks again for joining us, Gary.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Great to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
So yeah, let's continue to have this conversation about the Catholic Campaign for Human Development. Unfortunately, I'll just say this, unfortunately, not a lot of our parishioners know about these beautiful, important ministries, programs that are being helped by the parish, by this beautiful collection that happens usually. Correct me, Danny, if I'm wrong. During Thanksgiving weekend and after, is that correct?
The weekend before Thanksgiving.
The weekend before Thanksgiving. I knew that. The weekend before Thanksgiving. So again, unfortunately, not a lot of our parishes or parishioners know about these great works that's being done because of Catholic Campaign for Human Development.
Absolutely. I remember one of my first weeks at the Arch, I was talking to someone, and I don't remember who, but they told me that CCHD, or the Catholic Campaign for Human Development, was the best kept secret of the Catholic Church. And at first it was like, oh, that's awesome that we have that. I've been Catholic my whole life, and I didn't even know about that. And then it very quickly made me sad of, like, why is this a secret? You know, it's kind of like, don't put a lamp under a shade. It's like why are we, kind of just covering this light? And it's not anything that any of us are trying to do intentionally. It's just, it takes a lot of power to be that countercultural voice in the world that says that these organizations and these things are worth investing in with our whole lives.
Yes.
It's not during Thanksgiving weekend on the holidays when I feel like I should. No, it's with our whole lives. And that's the type of commitment that it actually takes to have this light shine brightly. And the only reason that people even know about it, it's not because of me. It's certainly because of people like Heather and Gary that know that have dedicated their whole lives to this work. So just another plug for those two and the work that they're doing. But yeah, it's it's a long journey to make this work known, and there's a lot of obstacles, but some ways to know about our work is to follow our social media pages, to be updated from information on our website, to listen to this show. You're already on your way if you're listening to this. And to just stay tuned on our collection. It's November 19th and 20th that weekend. And we really hope that everyone in the pews is as committed to this work as we are, or at least is interested in learning more. I mean, that's a great place to start.
Because those are just two organizations that we just gotten to know. There's a lot more. But
yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to learn, and there's a lot of ways to find out information. So I really encourage anyone to dig deeper if they're interested.
Danny or Dr. Angela, any last words about this Catholic Campaign for Human Development? Maybe some encouragement for our folks.
Sure. I think one of the biggest takeaways from our conversations today is how Danny was saying how this is how we live our lives. And clearly from listening to Gary and Heather, CCHD and participation in CCHD is really a way to respond to our call that God has given us. And while our default might be to respond in fear, as Heather was eloquently sharing, this is a response out of relationship with Christ and how he's called us to be in this world, which is not just about giving a person a fish, that adage, but really empowering people, changing the transformation that takes place in the lives of the people and in the communities, and also really encouraging a sense of thriving in our world. And I think you and I did talk about the best kept secret. I don't know, maybe that was our conversation, I'm not sure, but it certainly is not going to be the best kept secret much longer.
Amen.
And so we're just really excited to have Danny as our new coordinator for CCHD. Really excited about being able to be on your show, Ray.
This is beautiful,
and just continuing the conversation about how God calls us to show up in this world.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Danny. And prayers up for the whole collection, for all the organizations. Get to know those organizations out there, those ministries out there. So, again, we thank you for listening, and join us again for our Office of Human Dignity and Solidarity Fully Alive radio show next month. God bless you all.
By the power of his blood.
Join us every Monday through Friday at this time for Catholic Chicago. You can stream our programs live or listen to past programs by visiting our website, archchicago.org, and clicking on Radio TV. And please connect with Catholic Chicago on social media.
Let my song join the world that never ends, because he lives. was covered in sin and shame. I heard